Contrast uncut, yeah, you know that's us. Where we only speak the real and the real rock with us. Where we motivate the people and politic on success. Oh no, we ain't DJ Khaled, but they swearing we the best.
What's happening? It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 5. It's episode 43. Woo! I want to give a huge shout out to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. It's your host, Xylo. And today, everybody, we got a really incredibly dope special guest. He's from Pascagoula, Mississippi, and moved to the City of Angels. I hope I ain't fucked that up. Land of Opportunity, Los Angeles, California. You know, I did my research. His brother said he's from Vermont and King Boulevard, to be exact, South Central. He's an actor, screenwriter, producer, podcast host, extraordinaire, and comedian. I mean, I'm going to go by the numbers with this brother because the numbers never lie, and they do tell a story. As an actor, it's accredited 77 and counting roles in film and TV, such as Arrested Development, Lethal Weapon, Comedy Bang Bang, to name a few. Let me add 11 different writing credits and counting. You know, episodes such as Kenan, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Sneakerhead, which I watched all that shit vengefully, just to name a few. And as well as producing, you know, he produced 10 episodes of co-produced 10 episodes of Kenan and produced 7 episodes of Connecting TV series. And you can currently catch this brother as a writer and actor on NBC's new comedy series, Grand Crew, starring as a lead role in the show. If I keep going by the numbers, I'm going to run out of time in this intro, so I'm going to go ahead and sum it up. If you ain't know who I got on the show by now, it's all good. We get all episode to chop it up. Well, you know, one of the biggest Clippers and Saints fans, called Tart. Everybody, how you doing, bro?
I'm chilling, man. Clipper Nation. The name of the city is Pascagoula. But everybody,
Pascagoula.
It's a crazy name, but yeah, that's where I'm born. But I've been in LA now since I was like 8 years old.
Bro, you know, fun fact, I was trying to do my research, and there's someone else named Carl Tart out of Mississippi, and he just graduated, and he won Homecoming King. Yeah. And I was laughing. I was like, okay, that's not Carl.
No, that is my brother.
Okay, salute.
Yeah, that's my little brother. He was the first Black. He was first Homecoming King, period, at University of Mississippi, and he's the first Black Homecoming King because he's Black and he was the first. So yeah, but that's my little brother CJ. That's Carl Jr. We got the same name. I know that's weird, but my dad liked his name, you know.
I can't be mad at it. It's a brand.
Yeah.
So, Carl, I gotta tell you from the jump, time's the most finite thing we have on this earth. I gotta tell you how much I appreciate you fucking with me, fucking with the viewers, and just taking the time. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah, man. Of course, bro. Of course.
Speaking of time, what's a normal 24 for you?
A normal 24 for me, it depends on if I'm working or if I'm not working. So let's just say it's a day that I'm not working. Your boy is lazy when he's not working. Like when I'm not working, I'm in the bed probably till like 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? I'm in the bed late. People be on that like rise and grind. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Nah, not for me. But like I'm asleep while I'm alive because sleeping is dope. But I'm probably in bed late, get up, you know, unless I got something to do. But like if this is a free day, I'm checking emails when I first get up. Might make me some breakfast or go run some errands if I need to, handle some business, get in contact with reps and things like that to see what's on the docket, or getting, you know, check all the group chat with the homies. I'm in all the group chats, all the basketball group chats, all the regular comedy group chats. You know, check in with the homies and see what's going on, and probably get ready. On a night like that, I probably will have a show if it's not COVID season. Might have a live show going on, or I might be at a Clipper game. And then, you know, I stay up pretty late. I like to go out, so I'm a night owl. But that probably answers why I sleep in so late. But I'll be out and then probably get home and chill out, man. Watch Family Guy and go to sleep.
You know what's dope is that you give your time to repair your body, and then at the same time you take care of business, and then you go back into what you want to do.
Absolutely.
The day flow.
Yeah, but on a work day, if we shooting the show, man, I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning usually, and I'm on set all day. So that's 12 hours right there. Probably still get off and do a show, like do a live show, do a couple sets that night, and then probably be out, probably go grab drinks with the homies or something and hit the crib.
Mm. It's really dope to point out is that when you're not working, you still trying to get more work so that when the work does come in, you're ready to chill again.
Absolutely. You got to train your body to break your body.
Come on. I got a quote, bro. Let me know how this quote relates to you. If it doesn't, the idea is I want you to talk about it. Here we go.
Okay.
Luck is where opportunity meets preparation. Denzel Washington.
Bro, that quote definitely resonates with me, because I do think when people ask me, people will hit me up and be like, "Oh man, how did you do it? How did you get in? How did you break in? How did you do all that?" It ain't really, there's no such thing as overnight success. There might be some now, like with how it's so people got a whole film studio on their phone in their house, and they can make their content. And I'm not really an online content guy. I think I might have missed that mark. I sometimes think back to when I was younger and YouTube first got popping. I was like, it would have been dope to start a channel or something, but also like I probably wouldn't have been able to handle the pressure of that, like with the comments and stuff like that. I'll get a little sensitive about stuff like that. But I think a lot of people will ask, and there's no definitive answer on how to do something, how to get into what you get into. So for me, yes, I got lucky. There could have been every part that I get, there's 1,000 other dudes who could have got that part. You know what I'm saying? So it is a bit of luck, but the time and preparation is the time you put in perfecting your craft, the time you put in prepping everything that you need to do, the time you put in being in the right place at the right time. So my life, my comedy life started when I started doing stand-up and taking improv classes when I was like 19 years old. I had just left college, realized that basketball was over, came to that realization that so many young brothers and sisters reach at a certain age, and it's like, listen, the NBA ain't gonna happen. So, but I did make it to college for a year, and then came back home and was like, well, what's been the most consistent thing that been in my life? Well, everybody's always told me I was pretty funny, but that saying that you're funny and saying that you're gonna do comedy is not something that's nurtured. That's not when you say you want to be a doctor, people can see how you take the path to being a doctor. When you say you want to be a lawyer, people can see the path that you take to be a lawyer. When you say you want to be a comedian, people can't see that. They can't, because they don't see the hard work behind it. They don't see everybody's grind. They don't see Kevin Hart's grind, Chris Rock's grind, Dave Chappelle's grind. They don't see what they went through before they became what we know them as today. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So like they don't think that it's possible. There were times where Chris Rock got on stage and he wasn't funny. There's times when Kevin Hart got on stage and he wasn't funny. He had to learn how to do it. He had to perfect his craft. But there was something in him that made him want to drive and do that. And that was the same for me. Like comedy was something that I had loved since I was a kid. I had always loved it. It was a defense mechanism when I was younger, when I first moved to LA and I had a Southern accent and I was, trying to fit in with the kids. I was able to make them laugh. And that's how I was able to get friends and stuff like that. And then once I grew up and said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put the effort in, bro. I was in there every night, every comedy show that I could go see, every improv show, every stand-up show, like just became a student of the game even more than I was before I started doing it. And so I was there. I was being seen. I was, trying to figure out what's the best way I can get better at this. I want to get better. It comes from that athlete mentality too. I think that's why sports are so important for everybody, because if you have that competitive edge to want to get better and want to be better and want to be better than the next person and want to, beat your opponent, you got to keep working. You got to say, all right, my defense is slacking, so let me work on defense drills today. My shot is off, so let me put up 200, 300 shots. Like, you got to get that sports mentality transferred over into comedy, where it's like, I have to put these shots up. I got to get these reps up. I got to make sure I'm doing everything that I can to get better. And then an opportunity comes along after you've been prepping, that opportunity comes along and you're ready. It's not a thing. So the first opportunity for me was the CBS Diversity Showcase in 2012. I'm 23 years old. I've been doing comedy like almost 3 years at this point. And I got an audition for this thing, and like 5,000 people audition for this show every year, and only 22 make it. And I go in And I'm like one of the last people to audition. Like the process of building the show is about to start in like a couple of weeks. And they've already picked all these people. And a lot of these people have already had credits. They've already been on TV. They've already done stuff. And I'm just like this new kid that don't have no credits. I ain't never been on a show like with a speaking role. I had been on shows doing background stuff like that, but I had never been on a show speaking role. And I went in, and all that work that I had been grinding out, all that time that I had been putting in doing comedy shows and developing characters and stuff like that, I performed those characters for 5 minutes, and I immediately got put in the show.
You know, so, it's very important to point out that nothing comes overnight but sleep. You know, exactly. TikTok is an opportunity and a platform, but you still got to take time to edit your shit to make it interesting. You can't take that away. And then number two, I want to point out is that you said it really from the beginning, you have to be seen. It's dope doing all the work, putting in all the shots in the gym, getting all your reps in the gym. But if you don't get in the game and show it, you know, all we talking about is, you know, practice. And practice don't get you far unless you put it in somewhere. And that's something that you made a point of. And it turned up your opportunity met preparation, and then the blessing of being ready to go. It changes the things to luck. And, you know, I say it's blessings, but, you know, sometimes the power of luck can go both ways. You got to recognize it and give it its power.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like luck. Yes. Like time meeting preparation is for sure what you get lucky when you get an opportunity. Because even though I did good, I'm sure there was a dude that was better than me that I auditioned, but they chose me. Like, and this business is about getting chose a lot of the time. And even after that, that show puts you in front of a ton of like industry people, a ton of casting directors and producers and people like that. I was like one of the people who didn't get a ton of work after that show. Like, it didn't come overnight after that either. I had that, but then I would get to go in the audition room, but I wasn't booking those jobs. I was not lucky enough to book those jobs. So what does that mean? I got to go back in the lab. I got to get back into working hard enough and doing what I got to do to get there at that point. And then, you know, a couple of years later, one of my homies wrote a script and he got staffed on the show. And I was like, I could do that. And I got the opportunity to do that. And that's how writing came in. You also got to be multifaceted. I hear a lot of people go, man, I'm just an actor. I'm just a writer. And it's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do in the end, but like, don't limit yourself. Like, because every show that I've written on, I've done a part on.
That is a fact.
So, you know, like you don't want to limit yourself at all, because that's also a part of getting lucky. There's no right answer into how to do it. Like, people be like, man, how did you get this? How did you do that? There's no right answer.
Come on.
It's that luck, but it's also the time and preparation that I put in. So here's the path that I took. You may not be able to take this exact same path, but here's the path that I took to get here.
Exactly. And no, we're going to dig into that path even more, because talking about the entertainment game, the comedy world, because you're multifaceted. And you said that, and it's very important. We live in more of a day and age that if you could do 3 to 5 things at once, you're more than likely to get more opportunities than a person doing one. And, you know, we were at a time back 10 years ago, when Tyler Perry was doing his thing, and nobody would give him the time of day because he did it all. It was just unheard of. And it's like, people don't take the perception of, if this is all the resources I got, I'm going to give you what I'm feeling because this is what's driven. And you've been able to do that. And countlessly, and just kept on evolving. And I want to dig back in, because I want to know, did the game choose you, or did you choose the game? Talking about the entertainment game.
That's an interesting question. It kind of chose me, honestly, because I didn't want to do it at first. Like, it's kind of like a family business at this point. My grandma moved out here in the 70s I'm not out here. I'm in a different state right now, but she moved to LA.
Shout out to A. Go ahead. Let them know.
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. But my grandma moved to LA in the 70s and did a little bit of work. She was a dancer on the Flip Wilson show back then. But then she ended up coming back to Mississippi. And then my mom, you know, she always had a love for entertainment. She always wanted to be in the business, and she ended up moving to LA in like 1996, and then brought me out there a couple years later. You know, from Mississippi. We all from Mississippi, and then she brought me out there a couple years later, but she went out there to pursue her dreams. She did for a while. She was working quite often, like in the 90s, when the landscape of Black television was a lot more fruitful in the 90s and stuff like that. But also I saw my mom's grind, and as a kid, you kind of don't understand the grind. All you understand is what you don't have and what you like. You looking at what you can't get, and like, my mom always coming from Mississippi. We lived in the hood, but she didn't want me to go to school over there, so I always went on the west side where it's a little bit more, a lot kids got a little bit more opportunities over there. So I'm going to school now. My homies got on the newest J's and the dope FUBU and Fat Farm fits and all that type of stuff. My mom can't afford none of that. You know what I mean? And so like I can't get throwback jerseys like they got, because throwback jerseys was like $130, and she's not finna spend that on one shirt for me. You know what I mean? Like when she can go fuck up $130 at Ross, like I'm gonna be South Poled out. Yeah. but like but at the same time, like I said earlier, I had always had this knack for saying the right thing at the right time, kind of making people laugh. And I wasn't that much of a roaster. I was more self-deprecating than anything, because I was funny to keep people from roasting me. You remember roasting was big in middle school and stuff like that. So, but
still big now, shit.
yeah, it's huge now, actually. I think it kind of chose me, because I literally was not. I didn't used to wake up and say, man, I want to be on TV. Man, I really want this. After I stopped playing sports, I kind of went into more sports in the beginning, just to like separate myself from what my mom was doing. Like, and because I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm not gonna put my kids through this. And my mom, like back then, I would say that it sounds mean, but like my mom did everything she could for us. But she had this dream that she was pursuing. And anybody who is working on that dream knows how hard it can be. And imagine how hard it can be with children. And so she, we basically struggled a lot when I was a kid, and I equated that struggle to acting. And so I knew that I didn't want to do that. But then once basketball was over, I was doing a little bit more like writing based stuff at the college that I was at. And then the teachers and people were like, yo, man, you should pursue this. Like, these papers are really funny. And like, you could really, and at that point I was just like, I started doing background acting just to like make some money. And I was looking at the actors and I was like, man, I could do that. How much they getting paid? I could do that shit. And then I started looking into it. I was like, man, comedy has always kind of been there. Like, why not just try it? And I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell my friends. I was just going up at nighttime. Nobody knew where I was at. Nobody knew what I was doing. They just knew that I was like doing some other shit. And they didn't know where I was at nighttime, but I was at the comedy clubs and stuff like that. And so at that point, when I saw, that was the thing in my life that had come, I guess, not success per se, but like at different levels. I think we all have to check the levels of where we are and equate the success to the level that where we at. So,
and being honest about it.
Yeah. At the level that I was at that time, being a beginner, getting the cosign of people being like, hey, can you come do this show tonight? And yes, that show is free, but you're getting up in front of this audience and you're getting up and you get seen and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I'm getting the opportunity that I ain't got in any other facet of life. You know what I mean? I didn't get it in sports. I didn't get it in music, because I used to do music too. Like, I was like, I'm getting the opportunities in this. And I also love doing it. It didn't feel like hard work. It still don't feel like hard work, really. Even when it gets hard, it still don't feel hard. And I just was like, these opportunities are coming quicker and a little bit easier. I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I just went hard at it. I was like, I want to get better and better. If I can get this, if this is true, then what else is true? If I can get this opportunity, if I'm only a year in, not even a year yet, if I'm only 11 months in, and people who've been doing this for 15 years are saying, hey, come do a set. Hey, come, like, I want you to be on my show. I want you to come and do this. If I'm getting these opportunities at this point, imagine what I could do when I get to 5 years in or 10 years in or something like that. And that stuff is kind of coming true at this point. At the timeline that I'm on, I first stepped on a comedy stage in 2009, and here we are about to go into 2022, and look where I am at right now. Like, that timeline is working, and people still don't know me, but I'm a series regular on network TV show now, so
Come
they
on,
don't know me.
Come on, that's one of them stop moments. If it was Sunday, I'd have you stop on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But something else I want to point out is that I want to rewind it just a little bit. Because you go ahead, you got your mom, your grandmother, you're seeing sets. Like, a lot of these people in the game, they don't get to see a movie or a TV set until their first time being casted, whether it's being an extra, what have you. And so you're seeing it young and you're going another way. I got to ask, what did your dad do? Like,
my dad was a football player. And once that was over, he started working at the post office and he's been there ever since. He's been there
but 29
years now.
You got athlete and then you got, entertainment.
Yeah.
And you said, I got two spectrums. You know what? I don't like this hustle bustle of this world because it's a reality. Because, you got to go on tons of auditions. You got to work. And then, as great as the 90s were, there still was a limit on jobs. There was a limit on networks. There was a whole bunch of limit that there's not today's market. Now the values definitely drastically change, but, it's something to put in perspective. And then, so you're looking at, well, basketball still getting paid, football gets paid, athletes get paid. It's a way of life. And, you took that passion and said, hey, let me go here. And I'm imagining, did an injury happen or what took you out of basketball and
not being able to compete at the next level? Simple as that.
Being honest.
Yeah. Simple as that. I got to college. I got the opportunity to play in college and I wasn't able to compete.
Where'd you go?
New Mexico Highlands University. And
that sound like D2?
It's D2, yeah. And that's a first sign. And it's like, well, if you're not D1, it's gonna be hard to make it to the next level. But there are dudes in D2 that ball out. Like, don't get it twisted. It ain't that far of a step down. But there are definitely some D2s out there who could beat some D1s.
D2s, D3s, NAIA, they get all overseas money. Yeah. That's a whole nother hustle and bustle though. Yeah. That's just it's the minor league system.
Yeah. But no, I went out there and I just wasn't able to compete. Like, I wasn't good enough. And it probably would have took some time. But see, something that I learned about myself and something that I learned about myself over this whole time is I think I work better with positive reinforcement. You know what I mean? So like in sports, the way coaching and stuff is usually you get beat up, but the coaches that I had that would be like, hey, Carl, here's what you did wrong. And here's what you do to change it. The real teachers of the game, I always thrived with them. But when the coach is just like, man, fuck this, man, you trash. Like, you can't do nothing. Like, and they're not teaching you what you did wrong. It's like, sometimes you don't know what you did wrong. What did I do? I thought I ran the play exactly how you put it together. I thought I did. Like, what do you mean? And if they don't know how to teach, then you fail. And so
it's enabling growth.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I got to comedy, it's, first of all, it's a different landscape. Ain't nobody the people will tell you that you suck, but the people that's training you and the people that you taking classes from or anything like that, they gonna tell you how to fix your problems.
What to do differently. Yeah.
And also the audience will tell you that too. When something works and something doesn't, you know what to do, what to change, how to make it work. So I saw so much positive reinforcement and I got so much positive gratification, instant gratification in comedy that I hadn't gotten in basketball. And so that's what really made me drive to be really good at comedy as opposed to basketball. When I got to college, man, and I noticed that I was not transitioning well to that next level, because college is such a huge step up from high school. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. College is such a huge jump. And when I realized that I was not able to compete on that level, I did not put in the work to get better at that point. At that point, I was kind of giving up. I kind of didn't even want to stay in college no more. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know where I wanted to be. And then I went back home after that season, went back home and started doing the comedy stuff and was like, this is where I want to be. I immediately wanted to start putting in the work. I immediately wanted to get better and be better at that point.
So, you continue to grow in that field, and that's definitely, grass is always greener where you watered, and you know, sometimes if the sun and everything don't work out, you're just not in the right place watering. You got to go ahead and change the scenery, and you for surely did that successfully. And you know, you moved on from sets and to greater and bigger opportunities to the lead now. And I feel it's always somebody that invests in an idea or puts someone in a position to reach their dreams. Who do you owe to thank you for investing into your dreams?
I'm gonna thank my mom, really, because you know, she allowed me to stay at home way later than what I should have. I didn't leave the house until I was like 26, 27. And like, yeah. And so, you know, she likes to bring it up to her friend. Like some of her friends would be like, man, you letting that grown ass man stay at home? It's like, but she saw that I was on my grind. I wasn't just like, you know, at the house all day doing nothing on the PlayStation, smoking weed and shit like that. I wasn't doing that at home. So she didn't have no reason like kick me out. I wasn't gang banging. I wasn't doing nothing to make her kick me out. She saw that like I ain't never had to ask her for anything, but just like a place to sleep at night. Like, so like I was able to stay at home, able to, you know, take care of my craft without having I still had a job and I still had to contribute to the household. I worked, you know, 2 jobs at certain points. And then I was also doing the comedy stuff at night just to make sure that like I wasn't too much in the way, even though I had to be there and I had to sleep there and I was 24, 25, 26 years old. Like I wasn't there. I wasn't a burden on her. I wasn't taking nothing, you know, and I still contributed to the house and everything. So she definitely invested in that future in a way. And then other than that, I think just the people that I run into that have been like, you got it, keep going, nurture it, you know, like there's been a few people along the way. I think a lot of my homies are like that. We help each other out in different aspects of life. Yeah, man. Like, but I also did a lot of it on my own, I will say. Like, I did a lot of it just grinding on my own and just like taking my lumps and, you know, I'm a real independent dude in a lot of ways. So, yeah.
When it comes to those positive affirmations that you were receiving from your peers, and you know, as you continue to grind and work to be seen, and as you were saw, you continue to elevate in your levels. And you know, what were some of those moments where
Dad, did you get Polly some food?
this is what being a dad is like? Come here, Zoe. I was fully into a whole question. Come here. And you interrupted me. Come here. Now you gotta say hi.
I know. Please.
This is what winter break looks like.
Hi.
Say hello, Zoe.
Hi.
I like your hair.
They.
We'll take care of that later, okay?
What?
Feeding Harvey.
Okay.
Go back into your room with the heaters on.
Okay.
Boy, got a whole family.
Yeah, I do. Wife, son, daughter, a dog,
That's dope.
a house.
That's
I just
dope
ain't got a white picket fence because we stay in the hood.
Hey man, let's build it. I'll come help you.
Shit, they set my backyard on fire, right? And so we got a brand new fence because in the backyard for insurance, and that thing was tore up. So, you know, I'm trying to take my lucks with the fences.
Yeah.
Damn, my daughter really interrupted me. Shout out Zoe. But basically where I was going with it was like, you know, what were some of your positive affirmations that you were given that, you know, some standout moments, like, or some highlight moments where, you know, your peers gave you that affirmation that kept you going, whether it was giving you an opportunity or pushing you into the direction of the opportunity? Because a lot of the times people feel like they got a handout for something, and it's like, it's not a handout, it's a hand up to keep on climbing.
Yeah, I think opportunities for sure. When I would meet certain people and when I would get a chance to be a part of, I think one of the biggest opportunities I got just to get my name out there a little bit more is the podcast game, the Earwolf, like the Comedy Bang Bang, and Paul F. Tompkins and Scott Aukerman and Paul Scheer and all those people who constantly just threw me bones, like back when I was first, you know, like when I was younger and kind of like at the midway point of between when I started and where I'm at now. Like they kind of, you know, gave me the leg up and saw some talent in me, and I think it was just opportunities is definitely what was those positive reinforcements. Because if it was like, okay, if they're asking me to do this and they got all these other people that they could ask, that means that they like something that I do, and I'm grateful for that. Thanks for thinking that I'm good enough to be here. So
You know, something to point out is that relationships will get you places money cannot. And you
Yeah.
know, having the accountability of one yourself, but also the relationship when you building is you know a whole bunch of value in that you can continue to build throughout your career. And that's something that people sleep on. You know, it's one thing if you got a partner that borrows $5 and never returns it, it's okay. Let them go. It's just $5. But in the acting world, you do a whole bunch of favors and work it out so that when big opportunities come, and boom, it's a nice job.
But again, it's the same thing we were talking about with the time, with the preparation and timing. So like, yeah, they stumbled upon, they see me perform and go, oh, he will be a good asset to this thing that I'm doing. And also he's in a place right now where he might not charge me too much to do it, but will still give me a performance that will be beneficial to it. So let me ask him to do this. And then, it comes like that too. I think a lot of that is a part of it. Like those are definitely count as positive affirmation. Let me know I'm on the right track.
Facts. What is actually, let me dig into this real fast. What's something people got fucked up about the Clippers?
You know what? There's so much stuff that people got fucked up about the Clippers. But I think what they got fucked up about the Clippers, that the Clippers organization is completely 100% different than it was, 10 years ago. And it's going to take time to get the exact rhythm that we want to get. But we already, after 45 years of never even making it out of the second round of the playoffs, within 6 years now, we've made it to the Western Conference Finals. So the next step is the NBA Finals. And then the next step is the championship. And we have players like Kawhi and PG, players of that caliber, never would have wanted to stay with the Clippers 5-10 years ago.
Fact.
That's where you want to go and end your career. Let me just go get a bag real quick because no other team's gonna pick me up. But if I go to this team, I can get a quick bag and I don't have to play that hard because we're not gonna do nothing. And then I can walk off into the sunset. Like what Paul Pierce did.
True.
Paul Pierce was there during the new regime, but definitely was just let me just go get a bag real quick from the Clippers. Lakers didn't want to pick me up. Let me go get a bag from the Clippers. So, but I think what people really got fucked up is that this is a different organization, man. This is basically a new organization. We a young old team. But when you in the limelight, when you in the shadow of arguably the greatest sports franchise of all time, up top 3 with the Yankees and the Cowboys and Lakers, you know what I'm saying? When you in the shadow of that, things are gonna be even harder for you. So it's there's a lot of teams out there who are just as old as us that ain't never won no championship. But who's the only team you hear about getting roasted for it? You know what I mean?
Well played. I give you that.
Indiana Pacers ain't got no championship. Denver Nuggets ain't got no championship. Phoenix Suns ain't got no championship. There's a lot of teams out there that ain't got no championships that are just as old as we are, if not older. The Atlanta Hawks ain't got no championship. I'm in their city right now. I don't see no banners. But
damn, they didn't win. Damn,
they've never won. They won one in the ABL or American Basketball League or something like that.
Gotcha.
They were like the St. Louis Hawks or something. They ain't never won no championship as the Atlanta Hawks.
They ain't never. Damn.
And that also was before. They are older franchise than we are. They're older than the Clippers are. The Clippers only been around since 1970. The Hawks been around since the 40s or 50s or something like that. So, and they ain't got no championship. Sacramento Kings ain't got no championship. But because it's extra. Yeah, I trust me. I've been doing it. I've been having these arguments for years. So this is knowledge. But the point I'm making is, it's harder on us because we are the second team in the biggest market, and for years we did have a dynasties of mediocrity, if you will. So but now you got 2 dudes that just bought in. You got Kawhi Leonard, who's arguably, when healthy, top 5 in the league. Paul George, when healthy, top 15, top 20 in the league. You got
You sound like you got asterisks every time you talk about him.
when healthy. I mean, because they hurt right now. But so you can't call him top 5 in the league right now because he's not playing. But when he's playing, he's top 5 in the league. Kawhi is. And
It's a qualified amount of games they got to play to be like, qualified. But that's just me talking about statistics.
I say you
But no, they are. I mean,
I think at this point you can't argue Kawhi's because Kawhi got 2 championships.
fact.
So
or Paul George, like to be honest, like he's taking.
You can't argue PG. The PG gets a lot of hate, and I think it's because he's had that's again that media market. So like if you stick your foot in your mouth as a Laker, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You stick your foot in your mouth as a Clipper, it's going to be like there's clearly a media bias against the Clippers, but we constantly are in the media. You know what I'm saying?
What made you chose the underdog? Like you basically growing up down the street from the Staples Center, and you have an opportunity to see both teams play because 98 Staples Center
across the street from the sports arena. But also beyond that, I'll tell you what made me choose him. There's a couple reasons that made me choose him. One, how everybody hates on him. I feel like somebody's got to defend him. You know what I mean? And so if I'm gonna be that voice, I'm gonna be that voice too. I've always had an underdog mentality about myself. I've always felt like an underdog. I always felt like nothing was giving me. That's why when you ask that question, who's giving me opportunities, then that list is small because a lot of stuff I had to get was on me. And the Clippers have, had to demand their respect in a way, and it still hasn't come. It's even worse now because the Clippers went from being a team that people laughed at or didn't care about to now everybody hates them for some reason. And so they haven't had the opportunity. At least the Warriors went from being really shitty to being great. And then like they had a reason for people to hate them. But for the Clippers, every reason that somebody gives it, the reason why they hate the Clippers is just stupid as fuck. So
let's be real. We went from feeling sorry about the Clippers to like they may be something, but we're Laker fans, so it's fuck the Clippers. And then it's like, oh,
it wasn't like that before that.
It was they doing something. So we ain't got no choice but to hate the Clippers because it's still Laker Nation. Yeah, so it's like
like y'all won't admit it, but y'all know that the reason you hate the Clippers right now is because they are a legitimate contender. Facts. And you have to respect that. So now it's become this rivalry that it wasn't before. Like Celtics Lakers is no longer a thing. It's now Clippers Lakers is it ain't as big as it could be because we ain't had to face each other in the playoffs yet. Either we lose and y'all go on, or y'all lose and we go on. We ain't had to like face each other. But once that happens, once we actually have a battle for LA, and also like real Clipper fans like me who've been around forever rooting for this team, ain't none of us ever said that it's a Clipper town. Like you can't factually say that. Like you can't factually or intelligently say that. But what we do demand is the respect that we are here. And for the past 15 years, minus the bubble year, we have been the better team. So that's the truth. So 14 out of the past 15 years, we've been the better team. Not 15. I forget that y'all won in 2009. So 13 years. 12, 13 years. All right, 12, 13 years. We've been the better team. But that's just the truth. But it's y'all town. It's the Laker town. But the Clippers are in Laker town. You know
something that Golden State did that the Clippers haven't, and in which why it hasn't got the respect that it has, because even Clippers haven't hit that, and you said it, the championships, and Warriors hit a dynasty, and that's something that definitely separates.
Yeah, that's. I wasn't comparing us to the Warriors, only in the sense that the Warriors were also a super mediocre team for years, but they had their own city, so nobody talked about it because they didn't have to share the city with a team who won a champion starting in the 80s, won a championship, I guess, in every decade. No, they didn't technically win in the 90s, but in the 80s they won. Then when the Shaq and Kobe years won, and then Kobe won his other two. But like people went from not caring to now hating. And the hate, like when you start hating on something that you used to didn't care about, that means you salty and you pressed.
Fair enough. I like how you're saying Karen, because it sounds like we're Karens. And it's
Yeah.
not fair because you said that so smooth. Like if you caught it, you caught it.
Bro, I'll tell you this. I was listening to ESPN radio the other day. Michael Thompson said, I'd rather the Celtics win a championship before the Clippers do. And he was on those 80s teams that battled with the Celtics. He was one of the reasons why that dynasty was why that rivalry was as big as it was.
Isn't that Klay Thompson's father?
Yeah, Klay Thompson's dad. And he said, I would rather the Celtics win before the Clippers, because if the Clippers win, their fans are going to act like they've won 20 championships. I said, Michael Thompson, why is that a threat to you? The fact that we're going to be happy. That's weird.
Weirdo.
Yeah, that's weird as fuck. And I also watched this other dude who goes live on Instagram named Kev Mack, and not on Instagram, on YouTube, named Kev Mack, who's like, like a gang historian and just like LA kind of culture historian. And he stay hating on the Clippers. Like, it don't even have to be like the other night, the Nets beat the Clippers and James Harden had a good game. Literally the night before, he destroyed the Lakers. And the only thing he was saying the whole time was like, man, James Harden is cooking the Clippers right now. He's cooking the Clippers. He's making y'all look like, well, the Clippers. And it's like, bro, you can't keep our name out of your mouth.
Hold on. Patty Mills destroyed the Lakers too. I'm going to give that shout out while it's worthy.
We locked Patty Mills down with our G League team that night. Because our two best players ain't playing right now. We playing with rookies and G Leaguers right now. But ain't no excuse. Contracts. There ain't no excuse. We just signed James Ennis today.
Sheesh.
He doesn't move the needle, I don't think. I hope he does. But he doesn't do much.
But you know what? If there had to be that moment where you become Clipper Carl, like Clipper Daryl, it'd be worthy. I just want to know who will win if y'all battle. You just gonna give it to him, or?
Man, I'm a foot taller than that dude. He's an old ass man, but he's cool though. He's a nice dude. He always down to take a picture and shit like that. But you know what? Like, I do want to rep the squad. I'm always wearing Clipper shit on my show, and it's a legitimate fandom. It wasn't necessarily in spite of the Lakers. It was in spite of one Laker fan, my mom's boyfriend at the time, who, you know how niggas be when they, man, you ain't my daddy, bro. You ain't my daddy. Like, I got a dad. He'll beat your ass. Like, my dad was in the NFL. My dad's a football player. And then I won. Here's how it really happened. It was like 1999. And I was in Big Brothers, Big Sisters at Jesse Owens Park. And I won a 3-point shooting contest. And I won 2 tickets to the Clipper game that night. And I was excited as hell, man. I only been in LA for like a year. I really didn't know who the Clippers were. Like, I didn't know that was a team. And like, because I didn't really, I was young, man. I was 8 years old. Basketball to me at that time, like, I knew who Michael Jordan was. I knew who Shaq was. Like, that was what basketball was to me. Like, NBA on NBC, Michael Jordan dominated the 90s. So everybody knew who Michael Jordan was. Everybody who knew who the Bulls was. Like, but I wasn't really no big basketball guy. I was baseball and football, basically. So I won a ticket to the basketball game, to the Clipper game. They was playing against the either Dallas or Minnesota. I can't remember. So I take it home. I'm like, Mom, I got 2 tickets to the basketball game. Like, we lit. My mom's excited. That's cool. Yeah, we'll go down there and go watch the basketball game tonight. And this dude at the house be like, the Clippers, and he does the whole rant, the same tired ass rant they all do. And I'm like, man, I vow from this day on to root for this team no matter what. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into at that point. But also with sports fandom, I believe, my personal belief, and people don't have to believe this. I know people don't subscribe to this because people out there, I meet people all the time who are Lakers, Cowboys, and Yankees fans. And I'm like, how are you a fan of those 3 teams? Like how is that your team breakdown? The Lakers, yeah, exactly. The Lakers, the Cowboys, the Yankees. Or
those are America's teams.
Lakers, the Patriots, the Yankees. Like shit like that. Like, but I think sports fandom, it's fun for me to like root for a team that may not be the best, that may not win everything, because that's less fun. Like, I'm sure it's fun during, but like the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, that shit is fun for me. Every time the Lakers lose, every time they have a bad season, like they're having a bad season right now, Laker fans go, man, it don't matter, man. We good. We just won a couple years ago. I'm not tripping. It's like, why are you not mad that your team is losing? But then also when I root for a team like the Clippers, they always exceed my expectations. Like, now that bubble heartbreak was tough because we was all stuck in the house and shit. But last year, bro, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. I ain't mad at that at all. I ain't never seen that from my team. So I've always rooted for the underdogs, man. I'm a diehard Saints fan. Like Saints was the underdog. Saints back to being an underdog now. We back to a rebuilding team. We got our Super Bowl though. And man, let me tell you something. When you root for a team like that, like I got to give it to Warriors fans. They got in their ass for a little while. Like they were showing their ass for a little bit, Warriors fans, because they didn't know how to root for a winning team. But I will tell you, when the Saints won that Super Bowl, bro, like that was a different type of moment, man. Like never having experienced that, remembering the brown paper bags and like the ain'ts and all that type of stuff, remembering that.
Who that?
That championship felt great. And so I can understand the Warriors fans being in their ass now. You know, you get a lot of bandwagon fans and you got to, you know, they start getting in their ass. I got a couple lifelong Dubs fans that I'm like, yo, man, enjoy your championships. Enjoy having Steph. Enjoy having the greatest shooter.
Got to be from the Bay.
Yeah, for me, yeah. Every time I see Warriors fans, because a lot of you Laker fans jump ship in those years that I was just telling you about before the Warriors dynasty started, when it was just bubbling and the Warriors was battling with the Clippers in the second rounds of the playoffs. A lot of y'all whack ass Laker fans who don't have no real loyalty, you feel like a loser in real life, so you identify with a team that wins to make you finally feel like a winner. It's sad, but
you got to lean into the camera to say it too.
Let me tell y'all like this, okay? Let me tell y'all like this. All right.
The flagrant one had to get y'all one time.
Yeah. Nah. But man, I don't. Nowadays, honestly, even just over this past year, I think the disrespect is subsiding a little bit. Because you know, I rock Clippers wherever I go, bro. Everywhere. I'm always rocking something nation, bro. Always. And people used to hate on it. People now, when I am out of town, people are very surprised when they see it's like, are you a real Clippers fan? Like, yeah.
They do exist.
Yeah. Yeah, they be surprised, but I get that. I get the surprise. If I saw somebody walking around in LA with a I don't know, Indiana Pacers shirt on, I'd be like, oh, interesting. But that's the birthplace of basketball, though, so it might be a lot more fans than I'm giving credit for. But there's a lot more Clippers. The myth of the Clippers. Oh, that's another place they got the Clippers fucked up. The fan base. Of course, our fan base is not bigger than the Lakers. But with that being said, we are the second team in the largest market in America. You think we don't have any fans? Like that's a crazy notion.
I mean, for a long time, we only used to see like Malcolm in the Middle on the sidelines and Kevin Hart. Like it was Brim. But it's
Floyd Mayweather. But
hey, fun fact, it's still cheap as hell to go to a damn Clipper game. It costs way too much to go to a Laker game. They still hype the tickets. I've only been to 2 Laker games in my entire life, but I've been to way more Clipper games. And you learn how to sneak onto the court in a Clipper game because the security is less tripping. Just fun fact. YouTube that, by the way.
You now don't get in trouble. You can't do that at the Staples Center. You used to could do that at the sports arena. We used to move down all the time. But nowadays you can't do that. The games are not that empty. But I will give you Steve Ballmer has said he was like, I am not going to raise the prices of these games. If people want to come and just watch basketball, they want to get the experience of going to a professional basketball game, they can come watch the Clippers and they can do it for a decent price. He has not raised the price, and that's commendable to me. Like, I don't know why broadcast fans are being like, man, Lakers game more expensive than this. Like, why are you taking pride in that, you broke bitch? Like, you can't afford to watch your own team. Like,
fair enough.
So like I'm thinking like back in the day, man, when they used to give those fucking tickets away, I was like, I'm gonna root for the team that's giving me tickets. Like Lakers ain't never gave me shit.
Hey, you just got to give the privilege to the person that bought the tickets or were given the tickets. They were cheap tickets back in the day, and they couldn't get
Yeah.
Laker tickets to give you.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
They couldn't give you the Laker tickets. They can only give you the Clipper tickets.
Yeah,
That's why,
man. I'm
it
rooting
puts
for
you on
the
your path.
I'm rooting for the team. I'm rooting for the team that gave me the opportunity to see professional basketball in person.
There it is. I'm gonna go ahead and dig into a little bit more. We're gonna wrap up. What's something you
All right.
take from each performance you do? It's a lot that you do performing, where it comes to the pen, when it comes to being the brain of putting the whole thing together, or it comes to being on set in front of the camera. Like, what's something you take from each one?
Something I take from each time I work.
No, just basically, yeah, from each performance you do, what's something you take from it? Like, whether it's to do better or is it,
Yeah, to constantly strive to get better. I'm very hard on myself. I don't like to watch myself back. I don't like to watch back my stuff. Like, the show airs every Tuesday night on NBC. I would love if y'all watched it, but I'm not gonna be watching it. But chances are I won't be watching it unless I'm like with somebody who turns it on or something like that. But I don't like to watch myself necessarily. But always be better. Feed off that energy. Make sure to keep that energy up. And just there's always more work to be done. You ain't never done. You can't stop. You ain't gonna never. I do everything I do with the Clipper chip on my shoulder. I call it the Clipper chip because it's basically the same thing. It's like I ain't gonna never get the respect that I deserve. So what I should do is just to continue it, constantly work, and don't need that respect because it's inevitable. Like, so just keep going, keep going, keep working. That's my main, for sure.
What's your favorite Snoop Dogg memory, whether it's in person or his music inspired you in a moment?
When he was late to that interview and the man called him out for being late and he said, "Shut the fuck up." I love that. When he was on Martin, that's a dope ass episode.
Legendary.
Snoop is dope, man. I'd love to meet Snoop. I ain't never met Snoop. He's a legend, bro. He deserves all the flowers.
Amen.
Snoop is the man, bro.
Hey, Dog is busy as hell these days.
Also, when he signed the Cash Money, man, no limit. I mean,
I was gonna say, bro,
when he signed No Limit, I'm tripping. When he signed No Limit, that was a movement because I'm a big New Orleans music guy, even though I got the record label wrong.
Funny because Master P made him move to New Orleans, his whole family.
Yeah. Snoop is dope. Snoop's dope.
What's the favorite concert you've ever been to? Like, what was the best concert you've ever been to?
What's crazy? I ain't been to too many concerts in my life, but I will tell you, man, I had the most fun. Me and all my friends from high school went to the Millennium Tour a couple years ago. And man, that shit was lit, bro. Everybody was up in there dressed like 2003. I saw so many homies that like that really made you like realize how small like LA, especially like Black LA is. Because walking around that arena, you just saw so many people that you was like, oh shit, hey, what up? Oh man, this dude used to play basketball at the Y. Oh man, this guy went to middle school together. Oh, like it was super dope. It was really dope.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
The Millennium Tour was that's probably my favorite concert I've ever been to, for sure.
Now, Carl, bro, you made it through the show. And before we close out, the floor is yours. You already shot it out on Tuesdays. You can watch the Grand Crew on NBC. But, let them know where they can find you. Shit, do your thing, player.
All right, man. I'm on, check out Grand Crew, NBC, on Tuesday nights on NBC at 8:30 p.m. Or you can check it on Hulu or Peacock if you got either of those apps, if you a cord cutter. I got a couple podcasts out. The Flagrant Ones, as Zylo mentioned, is a basketball podcast I host. It is very biased towards the Clippers, so just get ready for that. If you like to hate listen to stuff, I gotta listen to people being biased towards the Lakers every day of my life. So y'all can listen to a little bit of Clipper bias in your life. And also I host a show called XOXO Gossip Kings, which is a Gossip Girl rewatch podcast with my homie. Have you ever heard two black dudes talk about Gossip Girl? Well, now you can. And that shit is fun, bro. That shit is a real good time. I host that with my homie Lamar Woods. Other than that, just follow me on Instagram at Dammit Carl, DAMMITCARL, man. And yeah, man, keep it popping.
Bro, I live in Bakersfield, and it's literally like you could tell when people live in a small town because you could hear the train no matter where you're at.
Oh, I thought that was the alarm. I thought that was the end of the show alarm.
Oh no, because I got one last thing to say, and then but this train, I gotta wait for it to cross, and
Okay.
you know it's like it shakes the house. It's just stupid. It's what it's like living. I mean, it's like 600,000 people here, so it's not like it's hella small.
Bakersfield. I ain't really spent that much time out there. We gotta come out. You gotta show us where the food spots at. Me and Chinadu gotta roll out there.
Yeah, have y'all come out here do a comedy show?
With you. Yeah,
That'd be dope.
yeah, that would
Give
be.
y'all a
Tight.
chance, you know, to come out here, make some money, and then you know at the same time have fun. Shit. All right, shit. On that note, if you notice my show is different, it's unique. They said over there I gotta do segments, and I'm like, bet I do segments, but I'm not gonna do segments like them. And I'm like, how do I keep that same energy and close out? The viewers knows it's coming. I'm gonna hit you with it. You got any questions for me?
Why you hate the Clippers?
I don't even know what a clipper is, number one.
See? Wow, it's a boat.
The boat?
Yeah, do you know what a Laker is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's a team in LA that I root for. It has, you know, 18 championships.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
But yeah, fair to say.
You got 16 and a half championships.
16 and a half. Sheesh.
Yeah.
He said the bubble don't count. I'm trying to claim the next one. If you notice that, manifestation's key.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you notice that. But we ain't gonna dig in all that. Shit, to be honest, bro, just when I was a kid, the first games I went to were Laker games. Like the only memory I have with my dad, you know, they used to take us to Laker games, and he died when I was 4. So that's something that always stuck with me. And then you know, it's Lakers, Raiders, Dodgers at that point. 80s baby, blase, but that's what it is.
For sure. I don't hate on people who I do hate on bandwagon fans that try to talk shit about the Clippers. But you ain't a bandwagon fan. You a real Laker fan. I give LA people license to shit on the Clippers. But it's a lot of people from outside the city who like to jump in and pile on to the Clipper hate, and I shut that shit down immediately.
But you know, since I know Clipper is now a boat, there's a whole lot of room in that water for a whole bunch of hate on that boat.
Amen.
On that note, it's Contrast Uncut. It's season 5. It's episode 43. You know, I got to give a huge shout out to Uncle Snoop's Army, Dog, and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. I wouldn't be able to do incredibly dope shit like interview, you know, call Tart, talk about his history. And his brother let some gems fly. He had some funny moments. And more importantly, he talked that shit about his Clipper Nation. And, you know, I got to give him his, you know, his credit for that. Because, you know, as we know, he threw up to see his crypto arena now. And you can still go and be courtside for $500. So on that note, I appreciate you, bro. More blessings to you. And you didn't shout it out because, you know, you are the podcast extraordinaire. You got over 70, 80 different interviews on this motherfucker. And I got to make sure the West Siders, I can't wait till that shit come together and come out.
Yeah.
Chinadu, and, you know, more blessings.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, sure. I'll see you later on my other meeting.
All right.